Ever since the shock and horror of the election results, I've been thinking a lot about Theodore Parker, the great Unitarian minister, transcendentalist, and abolitionist. I've been holding in my heart his famous words from 1853, spoken 8 years before our nation's brutal Civil War. Theodore Parker's words were later paraphrased by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., but these are Parker's original words. Look at the facts of the world. You see a continual and progressive triumph of what is right. I do not pretend to understand the moral universe. The arc is a long one. My eye reaches but little ways. But from what I can see, I am sure it bends toward justice. Things refuse to be mismanaged long. The arc of the universe bends towards justice. Things refuse to be mismanaged long. These last few days, it has been hard to believe this is true. I'm deeply troubled at the media's quick rush to explain away Kamala Harris's loss as a result of the economy and the high prices of inflation. Those are important factors. There are many others, including Gaza. And I know that some of us here did not vote for Kamala Harris for some of those reasons. Please know that you are loved and you are welcome here. But I believe, and I'm speaking on behalf of Tim, not as the voice of the church, I believe the foundation of Harris's loss is that a sizable number of Americans believe a woman lacks the ability and does not deserve the right to lead this nation. There are those who feel threatened by an empowered woman. Their recoil from an empowered woman increases dramatically when that woman is Black or that is a woman of color. I believe race and gender are what drove many of those red votes. And amen. And those votes have left us with much to fear about our future. Dear ones, many of us shake with fear. We shake with fear for our family and our friends. We shake with fear for the most vulnerable among us, the people who heard themselves vilified, demonized, and threatened. The people told they will have no voice in this next chapter of MAGA America. The people who have been told they will have no place in MAGA America. If the president-elect does the things he says he will do, if his greedy, opportunist, sycophants, and haters do the things they say they will do, it will seem as if the long arc of justice has been shattered into 1,000, no, 5,000 jagged pieces. What will we do then? What do we do with all the broken pieces of America? Then I remember the words of Rachel Cohn and David Levithan. Maybe it isn't that we're supposed to find the pieces and put them back together. Maybe we are the pieces. Maybe what we're supposed to do is come together. Maybe that's how we stop the breaking. Could I gently invite you to join me in saying those words? Maybe it isn't that we're supposed to find the pieces and put them back together. Maybe we're the pieces. Maybe what we're supposed to do is come together. Maybe that's how we stop the breaking. How do we come together? How will we come together to go forward together? I believe we come together by first breathing together. Breathing. We must lament together, full and unashamed. Poet Michael Lunig reminds us, when the heart is cut or cracked or broken, do not clutch at it. Let the wound lie open. Let the wind from the good old sea blow in to bathe the wound with salt. And let it sting. Let it sting. Buddhist teacher Pema Chodron addressed her own grief after the 2016 election. She said, "I've been getting in touch with a deep and profound sadness. It's hard to stay with that much vulnerability, but if we do not let ourselves feel the fullness of our pain, we can never find the path that will ultimately allow us to walk through this valley of the shadow." But, dear ones, we need not grieve alone. We are communal creatures. As Unitarian Universalist George E. Odell wrote, we need one another when we mourn and would be comforted. We need one another when we are in trouble and afraid. We need one another when we step into our hour of defeat. We need this church, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, when with encouragement we might endure and rise up again. A poem by Rosemary Watola Tromer, widely circulated this week on social media, tenderly shows us how we will endure, and we will endure, how we will rise up again, and how we are going forward together. She writes, today, when the heart is a small, tight knot, I do not try to untangle it. I don't tug at the strings in a desperate attempt to unravel it. I don't even wonder how it got so snarled. Instead, I imagine cradling it, cupping it with my hands like something precious, something wounded, a bird with a broken wing. I cradle my heart like the frightened thing it is. I imagine all the other frightened hearts and imagine them all being held in love. And I breathe. I breathe and feel how the breathing invites a spaciousness. I breathe and let myself be moved by the breathing as I open and soften, open and soften. nothing changes and everything changes. The heart, still or not, remembers it knows how to love. It knows it is not alone. Knowing we are not alone, knowing we are in this together, allows us to remember how we as Unitarian Universalists are called to be in this world. It allows us to embody who we are called to be in this world. It challenges us, in the words of Julian Jamaica Sota, to be the people who return to love like a North Star. The people who return to love like a North Star. The day after the election, blogger and author Ryan Holiday wrote the following, adapted slightly. Nothing in this election changes what is asked or obligated of us. It doesn't matter if a tyrant or a philosopher king comes to power. It doesn't matter if you yourself are the person who comes to power or if you have just been rendered powerless. You are still expected to be a person of virtue and values. The Roman philosopher Marcus Aurelius writes, "Whatever anyone does or says, for my part, I'm bound to the good." Whatever happens in life, in world events, in politics, how does this stop you from acting with courage, justice, and wisdom? In fact, it may well be that these election results present us with an urgent and critical opportunity to act with those virtues and values. Ryan Holiday goes on to say, our job today and tomorrow is the same as it's always been, to be good, to be compassionate, to embody love, to stand up for what's right, to resist what is wrong and evil, to do the hard work of justice. Nothing changes that. Nothing exempts us from that. Nothing prevents us from doing that. Now, the consequences and the costs and the stake can change. And if these election results may well have done that, but the obligation remains. We must be the people who return to love like a North Star. And as Cornel West says, justice is what love looks like in public. We must be the people who channel our rightful rage towards resistance against that which is unjust and evil. We must use every means possible to bend the arc of the universe toward justice. We don't know what that will require of us. We don't yet know what price we will pay, but do this we must. We must. We must. Unitarian Universalist minister, the Gordon B. McKeeman, once wrote, and it's like he wrote these words for us today. It is given to us to live in the days in which great and sweeping changes are taking place, in which truths long assumed are disproven, foundations long depended on are found uneasy and seem about to crumble, in which the whole structure of our culture seems to be threatened. Let us then remember that all that makes life meaningful for us does not depend on governments and systems, but from the simple and profound relationships of persons with each other and with the natural universe. of which we are a part. My dear ones, together we will endure. Together we will rise up again and again and again. Together we will resist that which is unjust and that which is evil again and again and again. My dear ones, we will go forward together. We will go forward together. Que así sea, bendito sea. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.